Nice job. Oh, my word. What? Oh, damn, I did not expect that. Wow, I thought Topuria by decision. I didn't expect a knockout. Feel sorry for Volk there. Let's watch that again. Oh, dips off the center line, body hooks, and then, oh my word. That was heavy. I'm not happy to see Volk lose, but Topuria is a beast. He deserves it. I can't see anyone beating Topuria right now. Volk was looking good as well. Is that Topuria's misses there? Spanish birds hit different. Well. So I know the title of my predictions video was, will UFC 298 be a snooze fest? And if you actually watch the video, what I meant by that is, will we see a bunch of decisions? Obviously, it's a little bit of a clickbait title, of course. I've got to get used to click. And the MMA videos usually don't really get that many views anyway. But I was kind of right about the fights that I predicted, at least anyway. Well, I got this one wrong. I said Roman Kopylov by decision, but I couldn't remember these guys' last fights. Then we had the Merab versus Henry Cejudo. What a fight that was. I predicted Merab by decision, and that's what we got. But the one thing I was really surprised about with Merab was his hands. He was actually landing some pretty decent punches, and that's because there's constantly that fear of the takedown. So if you're worried about getting taken down all the time, you're going to hold your hands a little bit lower, which is what Henry Cejudo does anyway, which leaves you open to get punched. So Merab looked really good, the best he's ever looked. He was picking Henry Cejudo up, he was walking across the cage, he was talking to Mark Zuckerberg, he was holding Cejudo against the cage, throwing some shots in, whilst talking to Dana White and Hunter Campbell, talking to Mike Bisping, Joe Rogan. He was really confident. We are potentially looking at the next bantamweight champion right here. Henry Cejudo looked fairly decent. I've got to say, he looked good, but he's 37, so getting a little bit older now. His cardio wasn't on the same level as Merab's, but whose is? Is this the end of Henry Cejudo? I don't think so whatsoever. But do I think he will reclaim the title? Probably not. I don't see a path of him getting back to championship status anytime soon anyway. So great fight that. Even though it was a decision, there was a lot of wrestling. It was still fun. It was entertaining. Then we had the welterweight fight, Geoff Neal versus Ian Garry. I predicted Ian Garry by decision. That's what we got. Ian Garry done good in the first round. Really good combinations. Mixes it up nicely. Then Geoff Neal overtook in the second round a little bit. He was pushing forward a lot more. Then Ian Garry got the third round. This is just how I was scoring it. Geoff Neal basically just had to try and get in Ian Garry's face, but what Ian does really good at is the lateral movement around the cage. It's very hard to cut him off and pin him into the corner of the octagon. So Geoff was kind of following him around the cage, and then at one point he was almost running to try and catch Ian Garry. But Ian's just really good with his footwork. He's really good at fighting on the back foot, and then he was also doing really good with the knees. And then because Geoff Neal was walking him down, Ian Garry was timing that knee up the middle perfectly. So it almost left Geoff Neal stuck in limbo. If he stayed on the outside, he's going to get picked apart, and then if he tries to close the distance, he's going to get kneed. And then we also see in the post-fight interview, Ian Garry is incredibly hated. Maybe videos like mine and the MMA Guru and the other MMA commentators out there talking about the wife situation probably didn't help. At the end of the day, he's a good fighter, and as I've always said, he just needs to focus on winning, and people will eventually like him. Fingers crossed anyway. But he's doing the right thing. Next, we had Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. I said Robert Whittaker by decision, and that's what we got. Robert Whittaker looked good in this fight. His hands were sharp. His head movements was really good. Rob was throwing the body jab and then going up top with the hook, and then sometimes following up with the right hand as well, and he was catching Paulo Costa. It's just that Paulo Costa's got a really good chin. Costa went toe-to-toe with Yoel Romero and took some heavy shots and still didn't go down. Okay, he's being dropped by Izzy, but that was more so like where Izzy punched him. Sometimes it's where you get hit that matters most, not how hard you get hit. Rob looked great. Obviously, we've seen Paulo Costa get that really nice spinning kick at the end of the first round, and then he got him with a left hook as well, which I think took that first round. At the end of the day, damage trumps all, and you could argue that that kick done more damage in that first round than all of Robert Whittaker's strikes leading up to before that kick. But then Robert Whittaker just got back on his bike and built the momentum through the second round and third round. A good return to form by Robert Whittaker here. Also, Paulo Costa looked good considering his layoff. I was even saying in the first round, he was very fast. He was very fast, twitchy, extremely explosive, no telegraphing of his strikes whatsoever. I think what I'd like to see now from Paulo Costa is just a bit more activity, because I thought this fight didn't really represent him in a bad light whatsoever. I don't think Paulo Costa's stock goes down that much. And finally, we have the upset upset, the featherweight title upset. Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria. Wow, who's seen that coming? I said Ilia Topuria by decision, and the reason why I said that is because Ilia Topuria went to a decision with Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett is a power puncher, but Josh Emmett has got nowhere near the defensive skills that Alexander Volkanovski's got, and then also just the technical striking abilities that Alexander's got. Now, obviously, Ilia Topuria will have gotten better since that Josh Emmett fight, of course, but my logic was I believe that Alexander Volkanovski will be able to put up a competitive fight, but Ilia Topuria will just about edge it over the 5 rounds. And it's kind of what we seen in the first 2 rounds. Volkanovski was having his moments. He had a really good jab. There was a moment in the first round, I think it was, where he clinched up with Ilia Topuria, landed 2 or 3 knees, and looked like he just had complete control over Topuria, which got me thinking, okay, if Volkanovski can get to that clinch position, it looks like he's the stronger fighter in that position. But Topuria, man, he's just got that tenacity. Who else in the featherweight division has got that much power and aggression? I honestly don't know. I think Topuria is now going to be hard to dethrone. Do we see Volkanovski being able to come back and beat Topuria? I don't know about beating him, but I think he would give Topuria a more competitive second fight. I could see the rematch actually being a decision going to Topuria, but Alexander Volkanovski holding his own a lot more. But usually what you find is that when someone wins the belt, the confidence skyrockets and they get better. So incredible fight. I did not see that knockout coming. I even said when I was watching it live, Topuria does his best work when he gets you up against the fence and he throws those nasty body hooks, then comes up over to the head and just knocks it out. Incredible. Okay, boys, comment your thoughts on the fights down below. Appreciate you all. Make sure you like this video, and I'll see you all tomorrow.